Well, happy Resurrection Sunday to each and every one of you. It is, I'm actually a minister, Chanel, and I'm so glad to be with you on this Resurrection Sunday. And many are celebrating the beautifulness of resurrection. But there's a few things that I want to talk about, and I'm going to let you guys go. All right, St. John chapter 19, verse 30 says, "So when Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, 'It is finished.' And bowing his head, he gave up his spirit." Listen, you heard me a couple of weeks ago talking about that Jesus came on a rescue mission. He came to redeem us and to rescue us from sin. But also there's a few other things that he had to do. God loved man. He created man. But it was kind of hard for him to relate to man, because man was going through changes, and he's like, I just don't understand why y'all keep getting in trouble, and why is it so hard? So Jesus, one of the purposes of Jesus was to see what it's like to be a man. He said, in order for me to understand man and know how to bless man, I need to come down myself in the form of a man, be born and call myself son, which will be Jesus. He said, then I'm going to walk amongst you, because now I got to see what it's like to be man. I need to see what it's like to get hurt. I need to see what it's like to get a paper cut. I need to see what it's like to grieve. I need to see what it's like to have anxiety, because he wanted to make sure that he could have compassion on man and then give man a fighting chance by giving him a tool to be able to overcome all of the works of the enemy. And so what happened? Jesus walked the earth, and all of a sudden, then he goes and he's baptized, right? So now he's had an experience as a man. Now it's time for him to introduce the prototype of what we would later find out is the Holy Spirit. So now Jesus knows what it's like to be a man, and now he's going to find out what it's like for man to have help, which is the helper, the Holy Spirit. So, when he said it is finished, his case study was up. He now understood what was it like to be a man. He now understood the pressures that mankind had to deal with. He now understood temptation. He now understood how the enemy fights man. He said, so the Spirit is in him, and he's like, all right, now I got to go. I got to go. He said, because I need to go send you a helper. Now, if you notice, there's a space and a time before the Holy Spirit comes. And I am a firm believer that Jesus went back and said, God, this is what it's like to be a man, and these are the things that's needed, and this is what the Holy Spirit helped me to do, and this is what we need to do to make sure that man can be able to be successful in humanity. And then when they got all in one place in one accord, the Spirit fell. But when he said it was finished, he finished the work to find out how to redeem man completely, because dying on the cross was only part of it. Actually, to me, it was just the beginning, because there's a whole lot that happened on the other side of the cross, and we are beneficiaries of what happened on the other side of the cross. And so what I want to say to you today, on this Resurrection Sunday, don't just get caught up that he got up, but know that when he bowed his head, he had finished a work, and the work that he had finished was becoming a man to understand man, so he could redeem man in flesh, and then send the Spirit back to help man until we meet him again. Isn't that such a beautiful thing to think about, is that he had to become a man so he could study man, so he could help redeem man from the works of the enemy. Beautiful thing. And guess what? You know what I like most? He did it for me. I was one of those whosoevers. Yes, like everybody, I got a past just like y'all. And guess what? It was all covered under the blood. He took care of all of that. And I was a whosoever, and so are you. So while you are celebrating this Easter, don't forget all the things that God did to make sure that you could be successful and that you could live a life free from sin. I remember we talked about sin as an archery term. It's missing the mark. A lot of people, want to, deal with certain little things. Oh, you're cussing, you're drinking, you're smoking. Okay, I got that. But there's other stuff, not doing what God told you to do. It could be gossiping, backbiting, busybody in other people's. Oh God, one day I really need to teach on that, because I don't think we understand what that means. That don't just mean gossiping. That means even let's look at it in today's world, So I think I'm gonna do a teaching on that. But this was such a beautiful time. I pray that you guys really embrace the freedom that you were given from the cross. When he got up, you got up. He got up with all power in his hands. He took the sting of death and he said, now I'm making it so that you guys now have the upper hand. And it's such a beautiful place to be. So you guys have a wonderful resurrection day. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.